Hey skiers, I'm Jeff from skiessentials.com.
I'm Bob. Happy Friday.
Welcome back to our Top 5 Friday ski industry news videos. Welcome back to what feels like a more normal Top 5 Fridays. Last week we went skiing, and then I feel like I haven't held the paper in a long time.
Well, it's May, so maybe somewhat of a return to normalcy.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Except we're not skiing every day.
Right.
So it feels weird. That doesn't feel normal.
It's a new normal.
It's a new normal. Yeah. Back to the off-season normal. We thought about going skiing today. We were slightly uninformed or misinformed that Sugarbush was open today. They are not.
They're open tomorrow.
They're open tomorrow, and it's free.
Oh, I did
you know
see that? Yeah. Well, I was wondering because we were talking about buying tickets, and I'm like, I thought I saw somewhere that it was free.
Yeah, so if you live in the northern Vermont, I don't care. If you live anywhere within a 6-hour radius, right?
You got to buy the
Online.
RFID card.
So it's like $5.
$5 or something.
So if you order your lift ticket online, it's free. And then if you don't have a card, you just got to go to they have those kiosks at Sugarbush.
They're super handy.
Yeah. I last year I think I went skiing at Sugarbush with family, maybe 2 years ago. I don't remember. And I had to get a lift ticket, and I was very impressed by the system. Because when I walked up, there was a crowd of 200 people, and I was like, this is a nightmare. And then just how quickly kiosks opened up, and it anyways.
You get so used to having a season's pass and just going on the lift that any other thing seems odd.
Yeah, but I don't know. Kudos to Sugarbush, and we are already way off track. But anyways, welcome back to Top 5 Fridays. Just a couple housekeeping things before we get into the news, and I feel like it's a relatively quick week for news, as is often the case when we get into the summer months. We talked about MAP drops last week. That did happen on May 1st, as I think I was slightly not guessing, but I couldn't remember exactly. So on May 1st, that was yesterday, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yesterday, prices dropped on a bunch of different brands, but I'd say most notably anything under the Amber umbrella, which would include Salomon, Atomic, Armada. And then we also saw price drops on Blizzard and Technica, and also Nordica, and then Stokely, which, Stokely's a big one because their skis are already expensive. So when you are shaving off another 10% on a pair of Stokely's, you're shaving off over $100.
I was still remarking yesterday that
they're still
a 30% off Storm Rider is still pretty pricey, but
we've also talked at length about why that is, and the benefit.
Yep.
So it's just an option. And then big week for content this week, Bob. We shared that Kamix on snow review from February on Monday, and then on Tuesday we had an Atris behind the scenes video from our ski test. There's still more of those to go. I'd say we're a little more than halfway through. I can't remember exactly, but more of those to share for sure. And then on Wednesday, Bob and I chatted about the Cortex 140 Zonal BOA. That's the second time we've had a conversation about those boots. The first time was with Tom from K2, and then this one was a little bit more of a normal review. And I'd say we're both largely impressed.
Yeah, I mean, who would have thought that putting a big plastic chunk on your foot would relate to strong skiing power and performance? Racers.
Everybody? Okay, all right. I couldn't quite tell where you were going.
It's not a secret. It's just impressive to see it in action.
Yeah, and I haven't had tremendous success in K2 boots in the past, particularly 4-buckle K2 boots. I've actually, I enjoy skiing in K2 Flex or full tilt, whatever you want to call it, Reichly, call it whatever makes you feel good.
Yeah.
They're all the same. But Mindbenders, I never had a tremendous amount of success. You had a Recon?
Yeah, but first, I don't know how many years ago, I skied a Spine. And was really impressed with how it skied. And this was good. At the tail end of skiing a bunch of boots at a demo. And then I have a Recon as well, and then this Cortex. But they're vastly different, and the Cortex is the most different of the three.
I just can't help but feel like the the introduction of the Cortex marks like a pretty fundamental, like, not necessarily like shift, but it's like a notable point in K2's boot progression to like, well, that's like that now competes with anybody's like high-end performance boot.
Yeah, you can't say that K2 doesn't have a low-volume, high-performance boot anymore.
Where like, you used to kind of be able to say that.
Yeah.
And even like I often felt like their 130 flex boots were a little on the soft side.
Yeah, and most of the lower volume stuff was in that Pinnacle and Mindbender realm anyway.
Yeah.
So I think that now the more performance-oriented skier is going to have a K2 option.
Fixed.
Yeah.
Spine.
Yeah. Good place to
throw it back to your spine boots. And then next week, I don't remember what we have planned for content, but definitely something exciting.
Well, we did another one yesterday.
Did I forget? We got so distracted by Cortex 140. No, I know. I had it written down, though. Yesterday, Bob and Matt did that M-Free 100 review. I think I have on the calendar next week at least some talk about the new marker binding, the Jester X M-Works 16, which is quite exciting. And then we got some other stuff planned, too. So, you ready for the news?
Let's do it.
We've talked about this a lot, but first topic of the week, Powder will be retaining ownership of Mount Bachelor indefinitely. So this has kind of been in and out of the news, for a year? A little over a year?
Yeah, well, these things move kind of slow. It's not like someone lists a huge ski resort and someone just plunks down a check and walks away with it. They move slowly.
Yep. So anyways, last we talked about this, I believe we had been looking at the potential of some local investors that wanted to buy it, kind of similar to what happened in Killington, which was also a Powder resort. Now Powder officially is planning on keeping it, and they've got some investments that they're putting into it as well. Probably most notably, they're upgrading the resort's power supply. So this is essentially 12 miles of power lines, which are going from a 5 megawatt system to a 10 megawatt system, so doubling the capacity of that system. Obviously, that's major, and it opens up the possibility of infrastructure upgrades, new lifts, stuff like that, just more consistency as well. And then did you read this about the biomass facility that they're going to put up as well?
I was too caught up in the doubling of the power. I glanced over the biomass.
Well, I almost did. And then I was like, I don't know what that is. I'm going to read about this. So they're building a biomass facility to burn what was described as forest debris, which will thus create heat and hot water and reduces their reliance on propane. So kind of an alternative energy source.
Alternative to the 1.21 gigawatts of electricity that they're having pumped in now.
And the propane.
Correct. Yeah, they're good to go.
I'm sure that they will be reliant mostly on the electricity and the propane still, but I still think like buildings like that are cool.
Yeah, and like with this stuff, where there's smoke, there's fire. Like if they're upgrading the power supply, they're probably going to plan something else.
Totally. So kind of an interesting change to that story, because it's been, I don't know, for a long time now, it had looked like Mount Bachelor was going to have different owners, and that is not the case.
I think closure is nice for a lot of people, too.
That's a great way to put it. Next few topics I think are pretty quick. Second topic of the week, ski mountaineer Malie Noyes has set the kind of unofficial shooting gallery record. So essentially it took her 47 days to ski 93 lines. She was mentored by and kind of partnered with Cody Townsend. Obviously, he has a lot of experience in the backcountry. And, do the math. That's a lot of big backcountry lines in 47 days, essentially 2 a day.
Yeah.
So, sort of an unofficial record because there was no formal...
But the other record was like 5 years or something like that.
Right.
So
yeah. So maybe somebody did it faster than that, but there's no real record of it.
You got to set a bar somewhere.
The bar has been set, Bob. You gonna go beat it?
Not.
I could have.
Lovely chairlifts.
I could have answered that.
Right up the canyon.
Yeah, I could have answered that for you. So anyways, congratulations to her. I think that's a huge accomplishment. And was a former Nordic ski racer. So
right up your alley.
Going uphill fast on skis is no problem. So anyways, kind of cool. And then third topic of the week, this one's interesting. We have the story, this was put out by Colorado Sun, of Aspen Divas, a synchronized skiing team. There has been talk about synchronized skiing making its debut in the 2026 Olympics. None of us can find official confirmation of that.
I couldn't.
When you do a Google search, like, AI tells you that it is, and then like there's some videos that say that it is, but nothing official, and it's not on the Olympic website. I think we may have even sat here and said that it was at one point.
I don't know. I did not see it on the Milano Cortina website for 2026 events.
I didn't either.
And I feel like that's pretty official.
Yeah.
So
I mean, they could add it, but
I guess.
Anyways, so it's a story of a synchronized skiing team called the Aspen Divas. If you're curious about this stuff, I think you're just going to learn a lot in general. Most synchro skiers come from a PSIA background. Most are currently active ski instructors. And it's interesting, you know, a lot of this story kind of focuses on the balance between instructing and their actual practice sessions. Like, they don't have much free time on snow. Mm-hmm. So like, when do you when are 9 ski instructors all off on a good ski day and they can go out and practice, which creates a challenge. And then it's also, there's a lot of international skiers on this team as well. And then the last thing that I will say is, Emily, if you're watching, I strongly encourage you to submit your resume to the Aspen Divas.
Or if you ever come back here to Vermont, you can join our new synchronized ski team at Ski Essentials.
Yeah.
And we will be the first unisex, multi-gendered synchronized ski team.
Sick.
Yeah.
If anybody knows like the qualification process for synchronized skiing, I'm in.
I've always enjoyed it. We even have a few videos that we did this year of
we practice
synchronized skiing. So, yeah, I think it's on the table.
I feel like you and Matt and I, like, if we tried synchronized skiing, our scores would be horrible.
Because we have 3 very distinctly different styles.
Yeah, just like intrinsically, even when we try and ski like each other, we can't.
Yeah. I don't know. But we'll figure it out. It's a good goal for next year.
Yeah.
2030, that's the...
Yeah, let's shoot for 2030.
Okay.
Because, you know, uncertainty of whether it's going to be in 2026. I'm sure if we start lobbying for it, we can get it into 2030.
We could also go to Interski, or whatever that thing is, where they do a lot of the technical demos and the synchro demos. And
is that the event that's like once every 4 years?
I don't know. I would imagine it's every year.
Oh.
But we'll look into it.
Anyways, yeah, somebody tell Bob and I how we become professional synchronized skiers. Like, how many people do you have on a team? I have a lot of questions, and it's hard for me to find answers to these questions.
We already like wear the same stuff.
I know.
We're most of the way there.
Let's do it. What would our skis be?
I think you need something pretty like cheater GS oriented.
Yeah, but I feel like that's where we differentiate ourselves. We just do it on like 100
twin tips.
Yeah. Then have a switch skiing section.
I could not join you there.
You could. Yeah, fair.
There'd be, you'd have to, it would be, I don't think you all have to be in sync, but the other person has to be part of the process.
No, we're just going to approach this with more creativity than anybody else. We're really going to change the sport that I know nothing about.
Yeah.
Anyways, fourth topic of the week. This is another kind of backcountry story, also another Colorado Sun story. It is the story of Griff Pinto, which, like, one of the best names ever.
Yeah.
Like, he's got to be a professional athlete, right?
At some point.
Anyways, he is a 13-year-old backcountry skier, Silverton local, logging over 500,000 vertical feet every year. Noah Dines just laughing at him.
It's like a day.
Yeah. Silly kid. Anyways, an interesting story about this kid. He truly is a kid. He's 13 years old. He was homeschooled starting at age 9. Incredible skier. He's got like over 5,000 Instagram followers. It sounds like very supportive parents. And I would say someone to watch in the future.
Yep.
You could do that much backcountry skiing starting at age 9, you're going to turn into a really good skier. Like we've seen with like plenty of young athletes.
Right.
So we have a bonus topic 4.5. If you're interested in this stuff, they have released the initial rosters for the Freeride World Championships. So take a look at that if you're interested. And then lastly, we've got our edits of the week. We have 4. First one is Jib League Season 3, Episode 2. They've actually released 2 videos recently, so if you haven't seen those, take a look. Shout out to Simon Miller, talented young athlete that I used to coach who has some shots. I think he actually has the lead.
Is that in the Woodward? And they got the Woodward Copper Park there?
Yeah.
Cool.
Did you watch it?
Briefly.
Did you watch the rail one? I think the other one was the rail one. Anyway, Simon's got a cool like pre-nose grab getting onto a rail, and then he holds it. He did it a bunch at Copper, and I was asking him how to do that, and then realized that I do not have that flexibility at age 39. And then we've got Return Signal from Hunter Henderson. Really cool edit, kind of gives like not old school, but like I guess kind of old school park shoot vibes. And then we've got a recap of Bobby Brown's Red Bull Cascade event. Kind of fun to relive that one. And then we've got part 2 of Burke Irving's Nines coverage, which you were watching and exclaiming, how could somebody do a triple backflip with a camera in their mouth?
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't really either.
And it's not like the mouth mount. Like, it looked like the stock one, which doesn't look very comfortable.
No, we should ask Matt, because I refuse to have a GoPro in my mouth.
Yeah, I just feel like you want to get something that's more actually like a mouth guard that you would use for football or hockey or
maybe
something like
his
that.
is like custom retrofit.
I don't know. It looked thin and hard.
Well, pretty cool. Burke Irving obviously is an exceptionally talented skier. So if you want to see what the Nines experience was like for him, take a look at that. And that's all I got, Bob.
Yeah, same here.
You're returning to field sports this weekend?
Field sports start this weekend. We get a short porch here in Vermont for spring sports.
I'll be on the golf course.
Yeah.
So, real shift in our weekend activities here.
Totally.
Hopefully some of you are still getting out on snow. Like I said, you can go ski Sugar Bush. Also, somebody should buy the Stoweflake Hotel.
Here in Stowe? Yeah. Foreclosure. May 15th, I think, is the auction.
It's either May 14th or 15th.
Yeah.
You can bid online.
Big property.
Yeah. Just let us know if you're planning on buying it. Not that we can contribute in any way, but
no, just
curious.
We'll give you our thoughts on, again, something we know nothing about.
Yeah.
Love the random speculation.
Yeah, what is Charlie B's?
Yeah, Charlie B's and Winfield's was the fine dining restaurant there.
Yeah. I mean, Charlie B's is a great space.
Yeah.
Like one of the best like interior restaurant spaces in Stowe, I think.
And a classic like sunken bar with fireplace lounge. Yeah,
totally.
There's not a whole lot of those anymore.
I mean, somebody could take that property and turn it into the premier destination in Stowe.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know.
The challenge has been put out there.
To our deep-pocketed fans. I mean, it's got to be not just a price to get in, but it hasn't really been kept up over the past, 10 years or so.
Yeah, we were speculating.
It's been sold a few times.
We were speculating that it'll probably go for, it's a big range, somewhere between $10 and $20 million at auction. And then I would say you should plan on another like $5 million of capital investments.
I would say more.
10?
I would say more.
More than 10?
It's been a while, I think, since that place has been at its glorious peak.
All right, so I think we'll put a number on it. I'd say if you have $30 million.
30, that's a good number.
That you're willing to invest in truly a great opportunity. I mean, I think it could be.
I think so too.
Like, think about like all the things that are around it now.
Yep.
And if you're done watching, totally understand where this is.
Including Pinnacle Ski and Sports across the road.
Yeah, like our shop is there, and I think it's very accurate to say that Pinnacle's the best ski shop in Stowe. You've got two of like the most popular restaurants in Stowe right across the street in Idle Time and Picasso.
Not including the two that you get with your new hotel.
Correct, including and the two in your hotel. The liquor store is within walking distance, like pharmacy.
Stowe Country Club.
Like doctor's office. Like if you need like urgent care.
It's not there anymore.
Doctor's office.
Pharmacy.
Pharmacy. Golf course. Literally a grocery store.
Yep. Yeah, just need the money. It's like everything.
Yeah.
Time and money.
Yeah. So anyways, if you got $30 million, let us know, and hope you have a great weekend.
Bye.